Welcome back to the story so far, part two. We put the dog out into the garden and give Ozzy the chance to wrap up December and the first part of January as well. And then we're looking forward to the game against Crystal Palace. So sit back and enjoy the show.
So a mixed month for November, which brings Ozzy, who's been waiting quite a while on the bench there, to December, which featured Wolves, Luton, Villa, Brighton, Liverpool and West Ham and Fulham. Quite a busy month, as always. There was one cracking game in that, which was Luton, where Declan Rice got the late winner. But Ozzy, take it away for the month of December.
Yeah, it was a bonkers month really in terms of fixtures, wasn't it? We got and yeah, just obviously what lads gone through each month. It's been mixed results really. We started off against Wolves, pretty dominant performance. Got goals from Saka. I don't know if you remember it. A scrappy sort of wiggled his way through, took a deflection and a tidy finish after that. But then we saw one of our best goals of the season for me, which was where Zinchenko played a 1-2 with Jesus, and it's cut back from Martin Odegaard, who put a third time finish in. It was a quality goal, bit of the old Arsenal there, the old Wenger ball sort of goal. But yeah, it's dominant performance. It wasn't a no frills performance at Wolves. It doesn't really stick in my memory too much, other than they didn't really show up. I could have had a few beers that day, so that's probably why it didn't help seeing that. But it was it was a pretty straightforward win. But when you look at the next match, which is on the 5th of December against Luton, which was an absolute bonkers match.
Cracking, yeah.
I remember like the celebration for that Rice header. The last kick of the ball was something unbelievable. But it's quite a nostalgic ground to go back. I wish I could have gone. I didn't go to it, but watching it on the TV, just seeing all the social media clips from Kenilworth Road, people walking through people's gardens to get in the stadium. Eamon, have you been there? I've been there. I've not been there with the Arsenal, but I've been there with.
No, but I'm from Finglas. I've walked through a lot of people's gardens in my day, you know.
Yeah, but if the Australian order stops that now, mate.
I haven't been, Carl. I haven't been.
But no, I've been there from like with my local Northampton before a long time ago as a kid. But yeah, it's quite an amazing ground. But with the Arsenal Luton game, it's actually bonkers, weren't it? I think I remember watching that. Had we not have got that last minute winner, I think there'd have been a meltdown on social media if they'd even got a point from that. I think what I noticed from that was really weak sort of set pieces. Arsenal were in that, and we started to show, I think, our weakness, which that's kind of carried on a bit since that match. I think we were just not out muscled. But I remember Ross Barkley and I can't remember the striker who scored it, but yeah, they were just solid on corners, and it really sort of showed a weakness for Raya. And I do sort of think that other teams watched that game. And they put a lot of pressure on that box. You said where they're setting up the corners now. We are looking vulnerable on corners. And I think that could have been, where people got a few ideas from. Maybe, I don't know, but ultimately it ended on a high. Declan Rice with a cracking header to win that game 4-3, and it took us nicely, really, starting the month off with 2 wins into the Villa game. And again, I didn't think it was a bad performance. I know I missed a positive, but I do think it was a good performance against a very good informed Villa side at the time, who had just beat Man United. And Man City as well, wasn't it? So
Man City.
Man City, that was it. Sorry, not United. That was So against Man City. So they was informed, they was on fire, and I remember going into that thinking I'd take a point all day going into that game. But I thought we actually played well. John McGinn got the goal. If you remember another VAR incident where Havertz got a disallowed goal, even though his Eddie stuck it in. When you look at that replay, I looked at it again tonight while I was researching. Another bonkers decision, really.
Plus, Gabriel Jesus got a tackle on him in the box.
Yeah.
The very same tackle that Crystal Palace got a penalty for that morning.
That same day. Yeah, that same day. So, again, hard done by, really. But that would have been a completely different month if you look at that with the start It'd have been 3 wins on the bounce, so that would have been a good December. But that sort of bit of game sort of disturbed us somewhat. But ultimately we bounced.
And just as a question on the Villa game, you mentioned there, you thought we played well. Do you think last year we probably would have got a result or got a draw out of that game compared to this year? It's just not kind of happening for us against.
Yeah, and I think you know what we were saying about that the small margins.
Yeah.
Because the difference is we didn't bounce the ball off of Emi Martinez's head.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that Villa game. Eamon, you were at that way. Were you at that? I can't remember.
No, but
the Leicester one before.
I tell you, the key moment in that game was on 66 minutes. The goal that Odegaard got against Wolves was presented to him again against Villa.
That's right.
And he shanked it. And the way the game is going, if he scores that goal, we'll not only draw that game, we're going to win it.
Yeah. And it was a good display. It was one of those displays. And on one, I know I am positive. I'm a positive fan, and I look at that. But I also think, if we play, and we'll talk about a game this month in December where we didn't do this, but if we play well and we put the effort in, I'll back them to the hills, and it just didn't work out for us that day. And you say VAR decision, like I say, penalty, Odegaard having that great chance, just didn't happen for us. So we sort of went on to a midweek game. I know we're not talking about Champions League, but we had a 1-1 draw away from PSV. It's not an easy place to go. We went there, got a point. Eddie scored in that one, but it was a no frills performance. I didn't walk away from that. It was an amazing performance, but we got a point and done what we needed to do there, which then sort of takes us into the Brighton game, with 2-0 win over Brighton, and again, it felt similar to the Wolves game. It was fairly easy. Brighton are a good side, and I think we just things seem to go for us again. So Jesus scored with a header off the corner. It's not often we get a corner that beats the first man. This went to the back post and we scored. So probably it came off a Brighton head and sort of went to the back post, and Jesus had a sort of empty net to hit it to, and then Kai Havertz scored a nice breakaway goal.
I'm going to stop you there.
Yeah.
You see, I think the problems that we've seen over the last 3 weeks, where we got the early warning signs against Brighton. I thought we were terrific against Brighton in the way we pressed them, in the way we passed them to death, in the way we quick movement. But for some reason, we got lucky that day, because in the first half we should have been 4 or 5 goals, and we didn't get them. And then the one that we did get was, as you say, a bit of a waxy one from a corner, But I think, if you moved that forward to West Ham, we could have got forward. I know we did. I know West Ham were dogged and blah, blah, but we had chances to win the game.
But that's it. When you look through the month, you look at the Wolves' performance, we actually dominated that. Like you're talking, I think we took. I think we had 19 shots or something in that game against Wolves.
OZZY, even going back to that Brighton game, I was actually at that game. We were unbelievable that day, right? But we were 1-0 up until about the 85th or whatever it was minute.
Yeah.
One chance. Pascal Gross missed an open goal nearly.
Yeah.
He scores that, it's 1-1, and we're all.
Yeah, but it had that feel, didn't it? It had that feel in the stadium, right? And then I don't know what I was feeling that day, because I realised I had COVID when I got home, but I was feeling ill. But yeah, super spreader. I didn't know I had COVID. I thought it was just a cold.
It ain't so bad for the next 2 games, but anyway.
but it was that Brighton game. Like I say, it's all about small margins, isn't it? That open goal goes in.
Yeah,
it's a meltdown. It's the end of the world. But instead, we went up the other end and Havertz put the ball in the back of the net. But this is the pattern that we've seen follow us into January of this having chance after chance after chance, not putting away, and we've just got by in December. Really, when you look at it, but we've got some good results. We've got some good results out of it. Like the Luton 4-3 was too close to recall.
Liverpool draw at home.
Yeah, and then we go on to Liverpool. Yeah, on the 23rd, and I thought that was a great performance. Again, I thought it was a great point.
Yeah.
You know, the Salah goal, I don't think there's much anyone could have done about that. It was just a bit of class.
Sorry,
albeit you say about that.
Stop you there. Except for Zinchenko.
Zinchenko, I know he turned it on, but the finish was bonkers, wasn't it?
But you shouldn't be beaten by a 40-yard
ball
in
down
the
line
as a defender.
Yeah.
But like,
to be honest, Zinchenko had a very bad month in December. I thought he was.
Even at that, Eamon, why didn't Zinchenko show him out to his right foot?
I don't know.
Exactly. Everyone was asking that. You know, if Tommy Asu had been on, it'd been different story, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. But as somebody who finished my terrible career as a defender, I could play a little bit, right? But a defender shouldn't be beaten by a 40-yard ball, and I'll tell you why. He's enough time to see that.
Yeah.
It's enough time to get his body in check. And what he didn't do, he half stepped in to attack the ball, then lost the flight of the ball. Salah gets it in the first place. Salah shouldn't have got that ball in the first place.
No.
Yeah.
You know.
But if you remember, Eamon and Ozzy and Craig, if you remember the replays of that goal, Gabriel is actually pointing to him. He was actually going to make his way over, only for Nunes, I think, was coming in behind him. So yeah.
I don't know. So the witch hunt for Zinchenko, you know, he was at fault for the goal. There's no doubt about it. But you know what? He's come in. He's done well in that position. You know, he's not the greatest defender. He's not a defender. He's not a left back naturally. No. He's not. You know, that we've got to remember is he is a central midfielder by trade, who's playing in left back.
Sorry, Ozzy, do you think if Tommy Asu was in that position that day, do you think that would have been a different outcome?
Salah wouldn't have got that ball.
He wouldn't have got it. No, like Eamon said. I think if he had a natural, I think if Kieran Tierney was on the pitch, he'd probably stop that as well. To be honest.
Probably.
That wouldn't have been batted out for a simple challenge. Tommy Asu wouldn't have lost the flight of the ball. Like, he just nodded it out. You know.
Can I ask you a question?
Zinchenko is. I don't want to be too hard on Zinchenko because in Zinchenko's brain, he's always thinking about what can I do to put us on the attack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly that. Yeah. You don't think like a defender, does he?
Exactly.
Yeah. Because he's not one.
So he's seen an opportunity. This ball is hanging in the air. If I can get this down, I can start moving.
Progression.
Whereas Tommy Asu is a defender, I have to clear this ball.
Yeah.
Eamon, Ozzy, can I ask a question? Do you think when Timber is fit, we all probably think he probably played that left back position. Do you think Arteta will use Zinchenko in midfield a bit more then?
I think he will. I think he will. I think whether he'll start is a different question altogether. But I think he'll set. He can fill in. He might fill in. He might play in that central midfield role. But I think I think when Timber's back, I think there's going to be. I can't see Zinchenko because it was quite obvious right from the start that Timber was going to play left back, wasn't it?
Yeah,
you know.
I think he could definitely do a role there where Havertz is playing because he plays a centre attack in midfield for Ukraine.
I think you get away with it against.
The only problem with him is he takes too many touches.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah,
but he's definitely he was a bargain signing, though. You know, I thought City were mad letting him go. Being honest,
But overall, though, I think the Liverpool game, I
don't think they're complaining, Johnny.
I wouldn't rule out Zinchenko not being with us next season.
You reckon?
Yeah. I wouldn't rule that out.
Well, there is talk of this fella from Ajax coming in, so is it going to be him and Timber to share the minutes? Then you could be right, Eamon.
Hopefully, he's not too wooden.
Oh, you just stole my joke. Oh, that was my joke when he signed. Oh, that's a great joke.
You're parking up the wrong tree there.
It's a great joke.
Eamon, you're after spying it out. He always takes the limelight. Moving to West Ham and Fulham.
Yes, do we have to talk about these?
Two great performances. Lee Judges saying that got rid of Arteta and our title chances were over after the Fulham game.
So the West Ham game.
He's felt that when Arsenal win, he's on top of the world, and when we lose, it's get rid of everyone. For a man that's been following Arsenal is it for controversy he says that, or is he just
it's just noise?
I think that's all for the clickbait.
Clicks, subscribe.
With AFTV, with so many fans watching it, why would you?
We don't need to talk about it, mate.
Why would you say? When
you know what?
We all wanted Arteta out on this show. Eamon was the first.
AFTV will bring a load of stones and just throw me stones through the camera lens of it. It's shit.
I don't think it's even worth a mention on this, mate.
Yeah.
Martin,
I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm a member of the Arsenal Supporters Trust, right?
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
and you get far more. You get a far more mercurial and balanced debate than what's on AFTV. It's a bit like when you started on this show, Jonathan, until you brought sensible people like us on. You were a bit of a shock jock. We've kind of grounded you, you know.
I've kind of seen the light, all right, in the last few months.
No, but AFTV, I mean, look, the whole point about that, they feed off sensationalism and people being taking extreme views. And you know, it's great when we're winning, and it's the worst in the world when we're losing, you know.
It's just I know it's for controversy, but I think it's just mad the way he jumps on the minute we lose a game. It's like it's the end of the, you know, he takes everything good he says when we win, you know, kind of, I suppose, look, it's for controversy, hopefully, AFTV listeners,
I don't know why people watch this.
To us for viewers, and get the right opinion on things.
What's that, Greg?
Even friends, friends of mine who support Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, whoever they are, when Arsenal lost, they looked forward to looking at that, and that's all it was. They got viewers because Arsenal were losing.
The biggest viewers are non-Arsenal fans.
Exactly. It wasn't even Arsenal fans watching it.
No, that's it.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, don't worry about it. Just noise, mate. Shall we talk about it? And West Ham, 2-0 home defeat. Souček, Mavropanos scoring. It was again. I said this last week, didn't I? So I don't think it was that bad of a performance. I just think things really went against our way. As we sort of said, we had chance after chance. So it felt like. It was one of those games where I always felt in the stadium, I don't know what it felt like on TV, but I always felt that we was going to get a goal back. Well, that 1-0 didn't feel enough. And then that sucker punch from the corner kind of just took the wind out of ourselves. You could see it in the players. It absolutely not.
I was in the stadium that night. Yeah,
it did feel like it just felt, didn't it? Like when it was 1-0, it felt like we was going to pull it back. It's like, it's okay, it's just a blip. We're gonna get this back. But then when that corner went in,
if Gabriel Jesus heads that ball in,
it's a different game, isn't it? It's a different game, and it's all also small margins. We talk about that, and then ultimately, when you're reading the media, it's like, it could have been a 3-0 if it weren't for the penalty save from Raya and stuff like that. Declan Rice was leggy at the end. He gave away a silly penalty.
You know what it is, Ozzy? Sorry to interrupt you. You just mentioned about the wind kind of come over our sails when that goal went in, but I think you mentioned it a few times, Eamon, I think in the podcast. The atmosphere this year compared to last year is a lot different because I think we know what we're up against. Forget about Liverpool, but even just Man City, if you lose a game or two, that could be it because Man City are just like, look at them against Newcastle the other day. De Bruyne comes on for 15 minutes and wins the game. That's what you're up against, It's just any sort of drop points feels like 20 losses, which is crazy, really.
To be honest with you, just briefly on that one, Craig, Newcastle, the worst thing they done was sat back at 2-1. They should have went for it because they had to beat it.
Man City should have won that game 9-2.
Yeah. So Newcastle were all over. You were watching the game, Jesus.
I know I'll disappoint you if I don't come out with some stats.
I prefer Eddie Howe as manager. I think he's really good.
Well, I'll talk to you about Eddie Howe in a minute, mate. But talking about the West Ham game. The West Ham game, like looking at stats, we had 75% possession against that West Ham game. 75% possession. They had 3 shots on target, one of them being a penalty that was saved, and the 2 goals. We had 30 shots, 8 shots on target. So 30 against their 6 shots, and then 8 on target. They had 3 on target. If that's not a dominant display, it just didn't go our way, And they could have won that game 3-0. After having 30 shots and 75% possession, So I think it summed it up really, how it felt. And it felt very different to, when we talk about the Fulham game next. The Fulham game, for me, was just an empty display. Empty. It felt gutless. It felt toothless. It felt like they weren't playing for the manager. I just don't know what happened there in terms of that game. And when that Saka goal went in, I thought we was going to get a response to the West Ham game. And then the game just died, didn't it? It just and I don't know if you can credit Fulham with that. I still to this day don't know how that game went the way it did.
Ozzy, do you think there's a bit of disharmony in the squad with the whole Ramsdale situation?
I think I saw the rumours. I don't think it's that. I don't know. You know, it's a busy month.
The players would have discord because the manager decides that one goalkeeper is better than the other. Well, if that's the case, they can all fuck off.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, seriously. I mean, Ramsdale. We don't owe Aaron Ramsdale anything.
Yeah.
I think what you see. I think what you're seeing for me is we had 8 games in December. I know. You know,
that's English media storing it up now. That's
the narrative they want you to believe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
They hate Arsenal, by the way. They always did.
Yeah.
They hated us in the 1930s.
Well, did you see the latest, Eamon? Arteta is getting slaughtered for eating a steak in Dubai.
Eating steak in Dubai.
I saw that.
Getting absolutely slaughtered online about that.
And why is that?
Because he went to this famous celebrity's steakhouse and he was captured on camera in that.
And who gives an actual fuck?
Exactly.
Getting slaughtered online by who though, Craig?
But the media.
I
was just about to talk about that steak as well.
People who fucking read this are worse, you know. Concentrate on the football.
Was it me?
Seriously, you know.
He's got good taste, Henry. Hopefully not the done.
I'm telling you now, if I meet any of these people, I'll fillet them.
Well, Big Al,
Big Al steaks were crap. Do you remember them?
That's where it was. Big Al steaks.
I don't want Alexander Lehmann. He's already says he likes Spanish women, so hopefully he likes Spanish steaks.
So going back to your point, I won't say much about Fulham because that game was a sort of nothing thing, and then I'll let the lads say what they think on that.
For cutting across, do you think after taking the lead after so early, do you think we should have capitalised and went on? You know,
you should always do that, but they just offered nothing, didn't they? The goal was a bit of a nothing goal, to be honest. It was close to being offside. I thought we got away with it. But ultimately, the performance, we didn't go for the jugular, and Fulham got back into it. And fair play to them, they walked away with 3 points, and deservedly so as well. You know, it's not one of those games where I can say we played better and we were Fulham absolutely deserved that 3 points, and they walked away with them, and fair play. And I always say when I feel we've been beaten fair, I'll say it, and I thought we was beaten fair. And so that's, you know, and that's the way it is. But looking back in November, like again, sticking to my stats of what I've looked at, found this cracking little app where you can put in the matches and find out our form table. But looking at the form table, you know, Arsenal were 10th for the month of December. And when you're looking at the teams above us, Everton, Wolves, Bournemouth, West Ham, were all above us in that form table. It says a lot for the sort of month we had. And it was a mixed month. We had some great performances and never didn't turn into points. But you're talking about Eddie Howe, when Eddie Howe with Newcastle in the month of December are sitting 18th. So, and that's, I was going to mention this later on when we talked about, or I was going to mention it earlier when you were talking about the bosses, Arteta, and about how we're doing. The media absolutely, you know, Talk Sport, whatever station you listen to, constantly talking about what a great job Eddie Howe's done. What a great job the British media say how good he is. He's for the month of December, he was 18th.
Carl, can I go back to something you said on a podcast after the Newcastle game? I am sick to my back teeth of hearing about Newcastle's injuries. They're no different than any other club's injuries.
No, well, we said that, didn't we, at Newcastle game? We had equal injuries, both all first team players as well. You know, it's just a narrative that you go. But looking at that form table, you know, it's, you know,
Eddie Howe is an English manager.
Yeah,
and you know, so if you take papers like the Daily Mail, the journals from the Daily Mail, the Telegraph, the Times, you know, they love that. You know, the Mirror would be slightly different because it's been traditionally a left-wing paper, but that's a real jingoistic nationalist. We need more English manager type of bullshit. You know, like Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe did a good job at Bournemouth. He eventually got sacked, Jonathan. Eventually got sacked because they were in trouble. He did a good job at stabilising Newcastle. He has done a good job at Newcastle, but he did a good job at stabilising Newcastle with a lot of money. and now,
Alexander Lehmann, do you like your beef burgers there?
But now the problem, now the difficulty with Newcastle is the form they're in is relegation material.
Yeah.
And you're touting them as an Arsenal manager.
Well, look, as Craig said, to you earlier, Eamon, the writing's on the wall for Arteta if nothing becomes of it in the next 18 months.
Yeah, but look, that's 18
look,
months.
It gives Stephen Kenny a chance.
Jesus Christ, that's 18 months.
Run down every manager we have.
Hold on. Listen, if you want to do AFTV, Jonathan, go and do that.
This is
and you and lead judges go off and drink with each other and get Big Al around the table and have a big party, and it'll be great crack. It won't make any sense, but it'll be great crack. Right? But we've all kind of understood here.
Book according to Eamon Revolution 30.
Arteta, well, you're reading it too, Jonathan.
Yeah, I have to say they said Arteta out.
Don't throw stones in your own glass house. What I'm saying to you is this, right? The judgment, my judgment will be out on Arteta in 2 years' time.
Yeah.
My judgment will be out on Arteta in 2 years' time. But I mean, to hear the likes of you now.
You said yourself last week, you said
to hear the likes of you touting Eddie Howe as the manager of Arsenal.
You seemed it last weekend. Can you withstand that?
Right, I'm gonna just say this then. So in the Premier League for the month of December, Arsenal played 7 in Premier League, 1-3.
Was a card
draw 0,
winning 7,
1 and lost 3. So Eddie Howe played 8, 1-2, lost 6. There you go.
You have to remember the injury list.
I wouldn't have him in December.
The injury list.
But the injuries. What about the injuries?
By the way, one of the people that are moaning about being injured is Joe Willock. He couldn't get a game for us.
He was a good player, just didn't get a chance.
Why did we get
a great player?
Yeah, look, it's been a busy show, lads.
There you go. That's December.
Yeah.
Very quickly, lads, we play Palace on Saturday morning. Olise's been linked with us, and Eddie and Ketty could be part of that deal. Aside from that, though, Eamon is the agent for Arsenal here.
Jonathan, can I ask you this question? Who's linked him?
Again now.
But you say he's been linked with us. By who?
He probably will be signed.
He just signed a contract, didn't he?
Big Al says he wants him at Arsenal.
He's also crocked.
Look, you didn't want Ivan Toney neither, so who do we sign? You know,
we're not signing anybody.
It's never say never. Blahovic has been linked again.
Linked, yeah. You should do the show on LinkedIn.
It's like the Dublin Bus Connects.
Linked, yeah, Bus Connect, yeah.
No, briefly, lads. I know Craig is licking his lips here for his dinner. Along with his pet at the back door. How do you see the match going on Saturday, Craig? 12:30, Ozzy and Eamon be half pissed at the start. So,
half pissed, Jonathan. We'd be responsible like everybody else.
Don't drink responsibly.
Look, we need a win, Johnny. Anything other but that.
We're getting the win, Craig.
Huh?
Craig, we're getting the win, right?
We are getting the win, yeah.
We
should beat Palace. Palace are poor side, really. Hodgson is kind of only in there to keep them up this year. They're probably going to get Steve Cooper in the summer. Sorry?
Has he been? That's the
he's been out to go in. Hodgson is meant to be given up in the summer, and Steve Cooper is meant to be taken over. I think he's buddies with.
Craig, do you think if we get nothing against Palace, how do you think the fans will react to that?
Look, there might have been a meltdown when we didn't beat Fulham, but if you don't beat Palace on Saturday at home, there'll be a mega meltdown after they're breaking that. But look, as Eamon said, they want to be positive. We are I think we'll win. I think we could potentially go out and batter them because the players that are having a break, they're having their son holiday in Dubai. It wouldn't surprise me if we won 4 or 5-0 here. But famous last words.
One thing for sure is that Ben White will have a tan.
Yeah, exactly. he'll have some Peter Pan.
How do you see the game going, Eamon? Do you see us going all out from the start, blitz them?
I think we'll try and play the dominant football that we've been playing, but I would imagine they've been doing a lot of work on the last third and finishing chances in proper weather, and I imagine there's one of these days, we're going to put 7 or 8 up on somebody.
Yeah. That's FIFA manager.
No, I mean, if you look at the Wenger days,
Henry, that's for sure.
If you look at the Wenger days, and if you look at between 98 and 2002 when we won the title, and Wenger was under pressure because he wasn't winning the league every year. But there were times between that period, 98 and 2002, I think we put 7-0 up on Everton one time, 6-0 up on Southampton, we have that in us,
Yeah, that's true, Eamon. Yeah, we did blitz, Richard Wright. Do you remember that one? LCTC, how do you see it again going yourself Saturday? After this reset, as Arteta said last weekend, do you think this is where our season starts now?
I don't think Arteta will be there. I think he's had a dodgy steak. He'll probably be watching it from his hotel room. But I think for 3-0, I've got a feeling saying 3-0 against Palace. I do think we're due, like Eamon said, I think we're due to put the team to the sword. I think we might do it on this one. I don't know. I just want to see a performance, similar to Liverpool with goals. That's what I want. That's the sort of performance I want. Goals, where goals go our way. So that's the sort of performance I want, because I really enjoyed that first half. It was great to watch. I just want to see some goals with that sort of football. So that's what I want to see on Saturday, and I look forward to it. And we will meet up, Mr. Eamon.
Yes.
It'll be a game where Eddie and Ketty could thrive in. To be honest, I think if he was let lash against him, I know Craig Smith could do a better job, but sadly you're not in the team, Craig.
just thinking about that stake thing with Arteta and the reaction of the stadium and whether people will come to the game. Will he fill it? I think the world should end there.
I think we're done. Aren't we?
I tell you, it's been a busy show. I wish I had a steak dinner, but I don't know what I'm having. A packet of Walkers might have to do it for tonight.
Guinness would only be grand.
Yeah. Well, given that Eddie Howe has a head like a marshmallow, maybe you should start there.
You leave Eddie alone. It's been a busy show. I'd like to thank Craig. Cheers for coming on again, pal.
Thanks, lads. Pleasure as always.
Cheers, you look great with your Westlife hairstyle. Carl Ozzy Osborne looking fresh as always. Dry January, here we come. Yeah. And Eamon, will Michael sing us out?
Yes, indeed. Good old Arsenal, we're proud to say that name. While we sing a song, we'll win the game. That's from the President of Ireland.
As always, Michael D, it's been a pleasure having you on. It's been a busy show, as I said. Martin probably take a week to edit this, but anyway. As always, catch us on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel and all the other social media we have out there. So until next Monday, where we'll review the hopefully 5-6-0 victory over Crystal Palace. Have a good week, and I'll talk to you then.
Thanks,
all right. Thanks,
Cheers. See you Saturday, guys. Yeah.
See you, mate.